Greetings, Batavia Mayor Jeff Schielke speaking to you on December 1st, 2022. And obviously with this date, we arrive in the month of the Christmas holiday season, and I want to certainly do whatever we can to make this a merry and happy and supportive and inspirational time in the history of Batavia. It's traditionally always been that way, and it greatly involves many of the members of the church community, which we are ever thankful for having, and we just want to encourage everyone to partake in the various community events and church services and things that are going to be taking place, because at a time when our world around us seems to be having all kinds of challenges and problems, we are very blessed to live in Batavia where things seem to be in order as far as law and order, and that we're somewhat safe and sound here, and we want to keep it that way, so we appreciate all the good efforts that are taking place. This week I want to pay some tribute to some things that have happened in the past week. Starting a week ago today, we had Thanksgiving, and we had the turkey trot, and that probably involved well over 1,000 runners, starting on Houston Street in Batavia, then running through the streets on the northwest side of Batavia, and then coming back, and it was a very nice group of people. We seem to have had the whole thing go over with no particular bad issues or accidents or any major moments. So I just want to thank all those who participated, and you had to pay to be in this thing, but the organizers of it ensured us that a nice donation from the profits of the run would go toward the Batavia Interfaith Food Pantry, which I guess it has. And that is a group of people that run the Interfaith Food Pantry down on Flynn Street on the south end of our downtown, immediately to the west of our wastewater treatment plant. And they do a wondrous job, and in the month of December I know they are heavily challenged because of all the holiday seasons and everything else that are going on around them. So if you're looking for something to donate to, I would certainly recommend the Interfaith Food Pantry. It's a very well-run organization, and it's full of very kind and generous people who work voluntarily on a volunteer basis down there to make Batavia a place that kind of takes care of its own. The next thing I would like to talk about is the Batavia Access Toy Drive. And I've talked about this before, but this is largely run by, again, a group of volunteer citizens headed up by Roy and Jeannie Bailey and their family. And they are currently situated out in the now closed, a portion of the now closed Sam's Club store on Randall Road. And they are in there right now putting things together. They've gotten some fairly significant donations this year. So we are notifying all the Batavia families who have been deemed eligible to receive donations of toys for Christmas that we will be available and offering those up in the weekends ahead. And if anybody would like to make a donation to the Batavia Access Toy Drive, you can certainly do so, or drop it off at the City Hall, and we will ensure that they get the donation. But they'll take both existing toys that they would like to have them new in the box if at all possible, and they will also take cash donations, of which all the money will be spent in buying additional toys for needy children. So those are two good things that are starting to happen in the month of December in Batavia. And in the case of the toy drive, I would just want to point out that I believe this is the 72nd year that Batavia has participated in this activity. It was started back in 1950 by the late Fire Chief Bud Richter, who repaired damaged toys, and then on the 23rd of December, the Rotary Club for Batavia came down and distributed these repaired toys to families in need in Batavia. And it was an idea that really caught on, and one that Batavians should be ever thankful for, because goodness knows there's a number of adults today that say had that not been part of their childhood, they wouldn't have had much for Christmas. So the fact that we've been able to do this for 72 years and always been able to raise the money or get the toys to do it, I think speaks wonders about the spirit of Batavia and the kindness and generosity that exists within our community. And certainly I want to pay a moment of tribute to the events of this past weekend. As you know, our high school football team went to the state championship game down at the University of Illinois in Champaign, and unfortunately they were defeated in that game. But if there was a winner as far as how to conduct yourself, how to play with great fortitude, and how to really make the town proud of yourself, win or lose, it was that particular team. And this past Sunday afternoon, we had a small community tribute to the team once they were all back in town. And we paraded them up Island Avenue and brought them up to the Peg Bond Center. And I wished them an expression of thanks on behalf of the community for the great job that they did in representing Batavia and the way they played and the talent that was there. And I certainly predicted that there's a lot of talent in that team that moving into their adulthood years are going to make a very positive difference in the world around us. Coach Denny Piron also spoke and did a nice job of thanking everybody that had supported the team and also the team members. And he invited, I believe, 7 or 8 of the team members one at a time to come up and make a couple words of appreciation and comments about the season, and all of them did it in a very professional manner. And again, just watching those kids perform and express their appreciation and their belief in what this was all about was a very, very positive experience for everybody to have. When that ended, in a few minutes, we had the fire truck arrive for a second time, this time bringing Santa Claus. And a jolly old fellow got out of the fire truck and walked over to the stage at the Peg Bond Center, where he and I pretty promptly then lit the community Christmas tree, which has become an annual event down in the... And I would note that what was really nice about this is that the attendance at both events, both the high school football team welcome and then later, a few minutes later, the arrival of Santa Claus, the number of people attending in total was in the thousands. And, in the case of the football team, I would tell you that all the parents and fans of the team were largely there. And then many of them left after that was over with. But then a few minutes later, when Santa arrived, we really got a swelling crowd of younger parents with kids. And Santa set himself up after we lit the tree over in the Peg Bond Center and talked to everybody that was there waiting to see him and greet him and have their picture taken or whatever somebody wanted to do. So it was a very memorable and fun night for everybody in Batavia. And I just also want to thank the governments that other in town that helped cooperate. The police department was jolly on the spot. Obviously the fire department was there. And I want to pay a word of thanks to the Batavia Main Street, the Batavia Chamber of Commerce, and a big thank you to the Batavia Park District under Allison Nehemiah, their executive director, because she was on the stage with me and introduced the whole event really coming forward. And then the end of the day, their Batavia Library had a book reading thing over at the Depot Museum, and everything went very, very well. And I'm just most appreciative for all the good things that Batavia did trying to make the holiday season a nice, memorable event for our community. And so we've got most of the decorations up now downtown. The tree is on the island. The Charlie tree is hanging, all red in color in honor of Charlie Chemis, who wanted, many years ago when he was City Water Department Superintendent, he wanted to pay tribute to the Mexican Christmas, which I guess largely includes a red tree. And so we have one up hanging on the pole. If you drive around, you'll be able to easily find it. But most interesting in my view also is the fact that we now are starting to see, especially last weekend, and I'm sure this weekend will be no less an effort, a number of individual homeowners are putting up Christmas displays in their front yard, and we have some very picturesque yards already in place that are, I would encourage people to drive around and take a look at what Batavia's already got on the street, because I think some of the old-time Christmas lovers in town who are no longer with us would greatly appreciate that we are carrying on traditions like the tree on the island and the Peace on Earth Bridge and all the home decorations that are out there. So I appreciate all the good things that Batavia's doing. We're great, joining in on the spirit of the season. And I think we are making these memorable moments for some of the younger generation here today to remember with great appreciation as they get older and remember how Batavia was, and hopefully we'll strive to keep it this same way for many years to come as far as the spirit of the community and the love of our country, and the great appreciation for the holiday period that we now all get this big experience every year. So I guess that's my talk for this week. I want to thank everybody for watching, and I look forward to talking to you next week.